Hi and welcome to WorkPro. My name is Tania Evans and I'm the host of this webinar this morning. The opportunity today is to take you through WorkPro's e-learning style. So for those of you who are subscribing members of WorkPro already or use our services already or have historically, you will know that WorkPro offers a substantial list of pre-built work health and safety and compliance modules that are designed for an industry or a job or a role that a person is undertaking. The way that we develop our modules is by jobs and industries, because we believe in delivering the most practical and the most relevant learning for the person to be able to minimise risk to themselves when they're working. So without further ado, I'm going to take you on a little journey today, which will take you through the administrator side of WorkPro, so showing you how to send a request from the platform for a person to complete a learning module or learning modules. I'm also going to log out, I'm going to log in as a candidate, and I'm going to show you a few steps of how we deliver our modules. And then I'm going to take you back into the administrator area and just give a little reminder about the responsibility for producing compliance certificates and the importance of that. So logging into the platform as an administrator. So WorkPro offers 35 work health and safety and compliance modules. As a company that uses our platform, you have the opportunity to deliver an unlimited number of those work health and safety and compliance modules to your candidates. So you get to pick and choose the most relevant learning for that person. It could be one module, it could be 3 modules, it could be 5 modules. And that's dependent on the person's role or the risk they present to the organisation or the risk of the industry or the site they're working at. So starting off with the requesting area, sending a request to a candidate, and you can either do that as a single request or a bulk request. Now you've either got packages defined already, which you do in another area of WorkPro, but if you have some predefined packages which contain tasks that make up a package, and that could be an induction module or induction modules and various other tasks that WorkPro offers, you're either selecting the package from your drop-down list or you're simply clicking the modules that you'd like this person to complete. So you can see the library of modules that we make available. And just to reiterate the point, the way that we've created our modules is by job, industry, and in sometimes risk. We also have things like a privacy module. We also have things like what to do if you're a supervisor who is involved with container packing and unpacking. So the modules I'm going to choose today is the office worker module and also discrimination, harassment and bullying. And you can see that it's pre-populated over here now. I now need to enter the person's name, their email address, and send the request. So once the request has been sent, the person will receive an email, and that email contains a live link and a single-use token. You can also track the request that you've sent through the track requesting area, and you can see here that I've sent this request testing. You can see the request date, the token that is in that email that I just mentioned, and also you can see the date that they logged in. The system will also start sending auto alerts should that person not log into the platform and complete their induction in a specified period of time. So we send 3 reminders 5 days apart. So the person's received their email, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to register as if I was a candidate, and I'm going to show you a couple of steps of an induction module. So if the person is already a registered user for WorkPro, they will simply log into the platform here. If they're not, they'll need to sign up now. WorkPro works on any device, so depending on the device they're on is how the screen would be rendered. Entering my email address, mobile phones, we use this should we need to validate someone who requires support from our 1300 number. And then signing up. Once the person signs up, they're asked for that single-use token, which is either provided to them by you or is contained in that email that I mentioned earlier. So entering the token and clicking continue. Clicking on inductions and training. In this case, we've asked that person to also read the Fair Work statement. That's by default and configured in this particular account. And moving on to the induction and e-learning. So you can see here the office worker and discrimination, harassment and bullying, 2 modules have been requested, and I'm simply clicking start. So starting the course, and you'll see the first step is how to navigate. So this provides information to that individual. Frequently asked questions, so they can just drop these in here. Very clear instructions. Over here in this panel is all of the steps of an induction module. So these are all the steps that the person is expected to read. And up here, you can see there's a completion. So these will start to change as I move through this module. So clicking on the next step, I'm either using the left-hand panel, which I've just done here. So fairly palatable chunks of information. In this case, this module takes about 30 minutes to complete. The person has the option to either move on to the next step from here, or they have the option to click on the next step over on the left-hand panel. Our module includes YouTube clips, static images, flip and click. Moving on, again, palatable chunks of information. Each of WorkPro's modules takes about 30 minutes to complete. In some cases, depending on the module, so our resources module, for example, is a lot more heavy, it's a lot more risky, and that module takes about 50 minutes to complete. We also have a generic overview of work health and safety and discrimination and harassment, and that module takes about 40 to 50 minutes to complete. So once the person's completed their learning component of the module, they're expected to complete an assessment, a competency-based assessment. So that's true and false assessment and multiple choice in this case. In most modules, it is an 80% pass rate. In our health module, so locum as an example, or CPR, BLS, nursing, emergency management in nursing, it's expected that they receive 100% pass rate. If the person doesn't reach that pass rate, whatever that is, 80%, 100%, they're presented with another random set of questions. You can see those questions in the back end of the system. If they didn't receive the pass rate the first time around, you can have a look at what the previous answers were, and you can either have the conversation with them or you can deliver further training if that's required. So you can see all of that assessment in the back end. Once the person's completed their module, they will receive an email alert letting them know that they've completed their modules just for their records. It will also be stored in their online profile. And for you, you'll receive an email alert inviting you to log into the platform and produce the compliance certificate. So it's a really important step actually in terms of the delivery of WorkPro. So once you've delivered this module, the system doesn't automatically produce a compliance certificate for either the candidate or for yourself. So it's really important that prior to placement on site or prior to them commencing day one, it's really important that you produce this certificate. I've logged back into the administrator's area of WorkPro now just to show you what that looks like, so you've got a visual. There's a couple of ways you can have a look at the candidates that have completed WorkPro that you need to produce compliance certificates for. And you can see in this case, this symbol here, which shows the person's completed this module. You can see this date here, which is the date that it expires. Most modules have a 2-year currency. For our health-related modules, it's expected that they complete learning every 12 months. So you're simply logging in here, clicking on Catherine, opening up the e-learning panel, and you'll click Verify Results. You can see here that she's completed this module, but she's yet to complete the Privacy Induction module. There's another way, a little shortcut I'd like to show you. So using the filtering function here, click on Induction and Learning. You want to have a look at those people that you've delivered WorkPro to, but you haven't produced the training certificate or compliance certificate for. So doing that, you can now see there's a whole list of people that you need to complete or that you need to produce that certificate. So rather than logging in one by one or opening in the panel one by one, you can simply click Actions, click Bulk Induction. You can see here all the names that are listed. You can select all of them. You can select none of them, which is where I started, and you can select some people. So within a couple of clicks, if I was to click verify, you would produce that compliance certificate. Just going to close that panel now and go back to the filtering. Just want to show you what a compliance certificate looks like as the last step. So let's have a look at someone that I've produced one for. And you can see here, Kath Kelly, opening that up, clicking on induction, and you can see the verification summary. So it's date and time stamped. So should someone be injured on site, should there be an inspection, if you would like to undertake an audit, it's really important that you have this certificate. So this is date and time stamped, and on that it has the module that's being completed, the date it was completed, the course expiry date, and the score that they attained. So this is your evidence that you've met compliance. Date and time stamped. So there's always a record of that in the person's profile in the administrator area of WorkPro, and of course then you have the option of producing a report to show what's been verified, what remains unverified, and those candidates that you still need to produce training certificates for. So that concludes today's demonstration. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.